Dah.
Okay. Hi, Assalamualaikum. I am
Hi.
Nuriesh.
I'm Najwa.
We are from DEC 6C. So we are going to interview you. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yes. Okay. So, Waalaikumsalam, Nuriesh and Najwa. My name is Nurul Adiba. I am currently teaching in KPM in Drama Kota. So, I was born and raised in Kuantan. I have had my studies. I've done my degree in Auckland University, and after that, I finished my master's in UITM Shah Alam. Um, Early education. When I was in primary schools, I went to all girls primary school,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was in Form 4 and Form 5, I was staying at a boarding school in MRSM.
Mm-hmm. All right. So today's interview is for our sociology subject. So we need to interview a person from other generation or maybe from other culture. So our topic is about subtle sexism in everyday life. So maybe you can
Sure.
share with us your solid experience about this topic, and there will be 11 questions to be asked. So the first question is,
In your life, do you ever experience a subtle sexism in your everyday life?
Mhm.
Okay. When you talk about sexism, I think it's a bit it's quite extreme, the term. However, when you re-term it into sexism,
Mhm.
I think everyone has experienced them somehow, whether you realize them or not. I think in my case, because I like to play sports and I used to play sports that requires me to play with other genders. So, for
Mhm.
example, in New Zealand, we play netball.
Mhm.
Boys and girls play together. So I think it's even though it's one of the tactic or to play certain positions for girls and guys, but it is still
Mhm.
a subtle sexism. For example, guys would play defense positions and girls would play more center, like center or
Mhm.
W wings, because just because
Something is not heavy
girls,
lah.
yeah, it's not heavy,
Mhm.
and guys would play something that supposedly emphasize on their masculinity, but
Mhm.
it's still a sport and you are allowed to play other positions. But I
Mhm.
think because I play sports that mix both genders, it tends to be one of the, I think it's quite subtle, but it's still a sexism. Like it's a
Mhm.
choice, or you do it because you want to win, but still is a sexism a way. Yeah.
So, madam, at what age do you exactly understand that you are being treated differently on the matter of gender?
Oh, I think I'm not sure how to say this, but I think my father has always wanted a son,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and he ended up with a daughter, and I'm the only child in the family. So I think even when I was 3 or 4, I was dressed like a
Like,
boy,
like a boy.
Mhm.
and I had short hair and everything. And I think at that point I realized already that it's kind of sexism. Like I wanted to do something else, I want to wear something else, but I ended up wearing boyish
A
clothing.
boy
But
shirt.
it wasn't really a problem. But like okay, I noticed. Okay, my dad really want a son.
Can you give us a few example of subtle sexism in your everyday life that you see often or particularly problematic? What is the appropriate response
For that.
for that for that subtle sexism?
Okay. I To be honest, I don't think we should be labeling sexism as sexism. But when we talk about subtle sexism, even the fact that you're driving, someone overtake you, you would say, okay, ni mesti laki ke, or ni mesti perempuan ni bawa kereta slow lah. I think that is one way of, saying that it
Mm-mm.
Sexism,
is
is
a
it?
Yes,
sexism.
it's true, madam.
Or yeah, even when you buy something online, you keep when you buy clothing, like female clothing, you assume that the seller would be a girl, and you would say, salam sis, boleh tahu pasal baju, I think that is still a subtle sexism. Like, you
Yes.
just assume that, okay, kalau orang ni jual barang perempuan, they have to be female, or yeah. And I realized that there are quite a lot of other things as well, like little things, like
Cooking.
cooking, yeah, definitely, right? Like people would assume, but I think when it comes to house chores, like being married and being stuck for how many days already? How many days have you been stuck?
14?
14,
14?
William.
14
13.
days. 13.
13, William.
Um, yeah, even doing house chores, like, okay, it is assumed that, okay, I'm the wife, so I have to do this, I have to do that. My mom is the wife, so she will be doing that, she will be doing that, and so on. So I think that even though it's subtle, but it is expected out of you, and you do it because it is
You have to
expected.
do it.
Yeah.
Because you expected to do.
Yeah.
So, given that this is about a subtle bias, how do you recognize it in ourselves when it is happening around you, around us?
Sometimes we don't. I think most of the time we don't really go into our life thinking that, oh, ni sexism, ni tak sexism, or
No,
ni
right?
ageism. We don't really do that.
You
So
don't
sometimes
really
we don't
realize.
really, we don't really
Because it's a
realize that.
culture, right?
Yeah, it's part of the culture. But I guess when you feel like you cannot take it anymore, or you feel that you are being mistreated, and it's quite obvious that you're being mistreated, then I think that is the point where you should, stop what you're doing and just look back and tell the person that, okay, you're not comfortable with this, and so on.
So what can we all, women and men, can do to change the environment to get rid of subtle sexism in the first place?
To be honest, I don't think we can get rid of it. I mean, it's a lifestyle. People live the
There's
way
been a
they live
norm.
because they've been brought up. Yeah, but I think now we are more exposed to the world. We are citizens of the world now, and I think we can think for ourselves now what we want to do and what we don't want to do. When I said when we talk about sexism, I still have to emphasize that I personally believe that men and women are born to do different things. Okay, like it's not we're not equal, so we're very different. So we were created
To do
to
different
do
things.
Different thing.
different things, and we were
Yeah.
created differently. So it's quite difficult to say that, oh, you're being sexist or you're not being sexist just because you don't do the same thing as men do. But it's just that I think at the end of the day, we have to practice respect among each other, and to change subtle sexism, I think you just have to respect each other, not as a person who are female or male, but as a person. That's it. Full stop. Yeah.
So, how do you actually draw the line between giving people the benefit of the doubt and identifying a sexist behavior?
Well, I like I said just now, I think if you are feeling very uncomfortable, you feel that you are being mistreated, and I think that is the time where you should start talking. And you cannot really, like, how do I say this? You cannot just accept what's going on. You have to think, and you have to analyze what is going on and decide for yourself
What's
what
right,
you
what's
want.
wrong?
Yes. And sometimes, like, one more thing, I think it is about how you present yourself. So people will tend to treat you the way you want to be treated.
It's true.
Hi, say hi.
So,
Sorry.
how does this sexist behavior affect someone in terms of mentality?
Okay. Now, I think, have you heard of the term self-fulfilling prophecy?
No.
Self-fulfilling prophecy. Okay. When you were born and you were told to do something because, for for example, you're a girl, so you have to get married someday, you have to have children, and you have to be married to a wonderful man and so on. So a lot of people ended up doing that because it is something that they believe in
They have
themselves.
to
Like,
do.
okay, in their mind, they believe that, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. In the end, it becomes self-fulfilling prophecy where they actually become what they think. You know, that's why right now, a lot of people are saying that you should be thinking in your head, like what you want to achieve, and then only you will achieve. So I think that is something that we have to bear in mind. In terms of mentality, subtle sexism affect the way you think about yourself, you think about other people, you treat yourself, and how you treat other people. So it's a huge influence towards what kind of person you are in the end.
So, how did you deal with your family members, friend, or any person that have this sexist ideology? Based on your experience.
Based on my experience, I really don't deal much with sexism. I mean, subtle sexism is not something that you talk about. Like, hi, you're being sexist. You don't really say that to person. But if I feel like I'm being mistreated, for example, I think it's really important for you to be able to communicate with whomever, whether it's a she or is a he. Okay, female ke, male ke, the way they treat you, regardless of what kind of biasness, you still have to talk it over. So communicate, I think, is the key. You have to tell that person what you're not comfortable with, and why do you think this is not okay, and in the end come up with a solution that works for both parties.
So do you think this type of ideology are acceptable to be cultivated in the society?
I think somehow you want me to answer no, because it's a do or do not question. But again, like I said, I'm not supporting sexism, but it's just that sometimes it's part of the culture. Sometimes that's what makes a society like that determines the identity that the society has. Who are we to say that, oh, it's not okay for you to live life like that just because you're being sexist? Sometimes it works for a certain group of people, and sometimes they're happy with it. So yeah, I can't really say we should not
We should.
promote subtle sexism, or we should, because it's quite, it depends. Excuse me, I'm
So,
talking here.
and in your opinion, how dangerous can it be when sexist behavior is being praised in our society?
Oh, it is very dangerous. They need to know that I think people need to know that they're doing something wrong, and having other people praising, saying that, oh, that is very good, when you're not doing something good, is very dangerous, obviously.
So if someone else tells you that you are being offensive for speaking up, what do you do?
At the end of the day, if I have to live with that someone, I will have to communicate and ask and discuss as to what kind of solution that everyone is suggesting, like both of us is okay with. So at the end of the day, if I was being offensive, I wouldn't want to hurt anyone if I don't have to. But if I feel something I feel strongly about something, and I believe that something is the
It's
right
wrong.
thing to do, then I would do it anyways, even though it might be offensive to some people.
Okay, so that was the last question
From us?
from us.
Okay.
Thank you for lending us your time.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. It's quite an interesting topic.
Thank you, madam.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Assalamualaikum.
Bye, ladies.